when I bring my white friends there, they're like, hold on, I'm feeling uncomfortable. And then I have to say, oh, are you the minority? Welcome to my world. Isn't it cute?
Welcome to another episode of Interview with My Kid. I'm Jesse Sullivan. This is my kid.
Hi, I'm the kid, Arlo.
It's getting towards the end of July. Things are heating up. It's getting hot.
Yeah, I mean, I wear so many layers. It's pretty warm, but I rather keep the layers.
The layers are worth it.
Yes.
Speaking of hot, our next guest is amazing. He's a podcast host and he's a Netflix reality personality, Courtney Revolution.
Welcome.
Such a warm welcome. Wait,
Yeah.
right in the chair, yo.
Yep, get that
All
mic right there for you.
Let me bring it close to the chest, right?
Yep, there you go.
Bam. Hi.
Amazing. We're so happy you're here. You look amazing. I love your t-shirt.
Thank you. I wanted to bring some color, you know.
Yeah.
Looks amazing. So we're so excited, but we really want to, obviously we want to kind of touch base on the fact that you were on The Circle and that kind of stuff just for the listeners. But really what I want this podcast to be about is to get to know you and who you are and your presence in the LGBTQ community, because I think it's been amazing. So yeah, we're just gonna really get to know you and kind of vibe it out.
Ooh, I'm ready to spill the tea.
So you were on the second season of The Circle, right?
Yes, I was. It was very dramatic. It was very messy. It really was. But it was a lot of fun, you know. And it tapes out in England, so I had never left the country before.
Oh.
Yeah, never
Crazy.
ever. I had to get a passport and then fly all the way out there to compete for $100,000.
Wow.
And what was your kind of background before that, before you actually got the show?
Before I did The Circle, I was like an entertainment host for a YouTube channel. So I had like a live morning talk show with a really good friend of mine. And we talked about the Kardashians and Justin Bieber and celebrities.
Just pop culture.
Pop culture, you know, the facts of life and the facts of other people's lives.
Oh, fun.
And so then from there, did you just randomly get an audition for that, or how did that happen?
I mean, well, it was during the pandemic. I was like in the house with my roommate and he was upstairs doing his thing. I was downstairs working. And then a friend of mine texted me and was like, you know what, just audition for The Circle. Like they knew I was a big fan of it. So I did it. 58-second video, no edits, just hey, I'm gonna spill the tea and I'm gonna snatch a wig, and before you knew it, they called me like an hour and a half later once I submitted. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And did you kind of know that you were gonna play a character going into it, or do you feel like it was like an authentic representation of you?
I think that I did my best to portray myself as close to myself as possible, just super strategic, because it's not a game where you're always rewarded for being 100% yourself.
Right.
So there was a little bit of phoniness, a little bit of white lies.
Yeah.
If you will,
Gotcha.
you know?
Because I remember reading that like there were some articles calling you like the villain, right? Did that happen?
I think it really kind of depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
Right. At the end of the day, it's $100,000. I personally was there because my dad has like stage 3 kidney disease. Like, I needed the money. So I mean.
So are you a villain, or you know?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think that there's only one winner. So aren't we all like fighting against each other?
Yeah,
I think people had a problem with how I went about it.
Gotcha.
I will lie, cheat, and steal for my family. You know?
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, if the end goal was for your dad, I have had a sick dad too. He's passed now, but I would have done the exact same thing. Anything
Exactly.
for him.
Yeah.
So I totally get that.
Play the game, you know?
Yeah.
Play the game. This is not Candyland. This is The Circle.
Yeah.
Big building.
Yeah.
I started watching this Survivor for the first time. I never watched it, and I didn't realize it was the same way, like so strategic. Like it's not even about being like the most liked or the nicest or anything. It's about like these people were like having to manipulate just to get to the end. And a lot of them had similar stories, like they needed that money for family members or whatever. So
when you go on reality TV, competition wise, it's almost kind of like, what won't you do for the prize? And if there are a laundry list of things that you won't do, maybe you won't even get on the show.
Right.
And I was like, whatever it takes, I'm gonna lie about everybody. Like, you know.
Yeah.
that's amazing. And do you think there was like a bunch of people who also kind of identified with you in that way and didn't see you that way, and they were like, you were actually like the hero? Do you think there was that as well?
Yes, and I'm happy to say that because I think during the show I caught a lot of heat online for playing the game differently from the first season. You know, everyone was very nice that first season. But there are a lot of people, when I meet them in person, they're like, I would have done the same thing. Like, you were so strategic. You used your brain. Like, it's not a friendship game. It's strategy. I love that. So I appreciate doing what I did because people respect it. You
Absolutely.
know?
Yeah.
And, you know, going back a little bit, like, did you kind of always know that you were going to be a TV personality and kind of be on camera, or was that something you figured out later on in life?
That was something I knew since I was like a kid.
Yeah.
Like there's a show called Keenan and Kel on Nickelodeon that I was like, I want to do that because they're just silly and fun. And if you ask anyone from my high school, they all say like Courtney specifically on reality TV was like, of course, you know, because I'm just a mess.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Was there anyone who like you were almost inspired by that was on reality TV to kind of play the game how you did?
Yes. To just short answer, yes. There was a beautiful woman on reality TV several years ago named Tiffany Pollard, and she was on a show called Flavor of Love. And although she was loud, although she was obnoxious, she created TV moments that are unforgettable, that are still used like today on Twitter. So when I went on The Circle, I really wanted to play the game, but I also wanted to have as much fun as possible so that people could, you know, look back and be like, you know what, Courtney, he's funny.
Yeah.
And do you think there's like power in being that kind of like more like loud, obnoxious person? I feel like there is. I feel like you can almost influence people more.
Yeah, I think that like, if you're loud and obnoxious and goofy like myself, you have to just own it.
Yeah.
I think that there are reality personalities, not all the time, but sometimes they don't realize who they are. And when you watch the tape back, sometimes it shows you exactly who you are.
Yeah.
You know?
We've talked about too on the show, like how important it is, like just being, you know, especially in like the LGBTQIA plus space, be owning who you are. Like we've had guests come on and be like, when I was younger, I would like kind of hide things, or like I wasn't sure. And then I got older and I realized like, screw everyone else, I'm going to be exactly who I am. And that's kind of when my life fell into place. So I feel like there's kind of similarities there.
Absolutely. I feel like for me personally, I didn't realize how little I trusted myself before I did the show, because it's a show about making decisions. And I feel like once I really kind of owned who I was and my identity, and I just was myself on The Circle, I really started to play the game. Like when you watch the show, it goes from like me being kind of aloof, like, hey girl.
Yeah.
And then as you get into it, I'm like, okay, girl, you going home because this, you going home because this, because it's about you at the end of the day.
Right.
You know?
And isn't, because like my girlfriend, she was on Too Hot to Handle. And so I've heard a lot of like what goes on behind the scenes. And like, don't you think there's also like editing and stuff that goes on to kind of put a certain story along?
Oh my God. Yes. Oh my God. Those producers will love them to death because they are friends now. Love y'all. But they will definitely try to nudge you in the direction of, you know, whatever story is happening.
Yeah.
Okay, and let's go back a little bit because I really want to just get to know you. I like when I was looking at your social media and watching clips from The Circle and all of this, I was like, who is this guy? Like, what's this guy's story? Because you're such a force. It's obvious. Like even just walking in here, I could feel it. Like you have this amazing energy. But let's start from the beginning. Where did you grow up?
Okay, so I was born in Harlem, and then my parents relocated me to the Poconos in Pennsylvania when I was around 8 or 9.
Okay.
And I lived there until I graduated high school. And then I did like a semester or two in community college. Then I saw a purple poster that said, come work at Disney. So then I packed my bags. I literally filled out an application for a Disney internship randomly. And then fun. I was like accepted 3 days later.
Disneyland in Anaheim?
Disney World in Florida.
Oh, okay.
And I got accepted, called my mom and was like, hey girl, I'm going to Florida. And she was like, what? I did that. And while I was there, I was like, okay, love Florida, too humid. I want to move to LA. So I came back home to Pennsylvania, got my degree, and then moved here 6 years ago.
Oh, wow. And what did you do at Disneyland? Were you like a character?
I wish. Oh my God, no. At Disney World, I worked in food and beverage, specifically at Epcot, Sunshine Seasons in the back, slinging that Mongolian beef and just
in the heat. Wow.
Yes. Not my favorite job, but the job that I learned the most at. Right. You know, it was like the first time I was alone, like on my own.
Yeah.
Right.
I also think like I've worked all those crazy hard, hot just grueling jobs too. And I feel like you learn so much about yourself, and it's really great like motivation for like keep wanting to strive for more, because you're like, I want to be doing this forever. Like I remember that feeling when I was like serving, being like, no, this isn't it. I'm gonna hustle. Like
yeah, you don't want to be like 55 still doing the same thing.
No,
Exactly.
So growing up in the Poconos, I don't personally really know that much about what it's like there. Is it conservative?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty conservative. It's just like, you know, if you live in the Poconos, you grow up to be a nurse, a teacher, or own a mattress store.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You know, I don't want to own mattresses.
Yeah.
So at the time that I was growing up, I really wanted to be like a YouTuber. That was like the big thing. So I was always the standout, you know, because everyone else wanted to go to Penn State and, you know, work in finance or whatever they do at Penn State.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to be like Lauren Conrad and be on the hills.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I feel like kids like go one way or the other. They're either like, I want like that really like chill structured job, or they're watching TV and they're like, oh, I want to do that, you know?
Yeah.
I was doing the same thing. I literally remember watching like the Oscars when I was a kid. I was probably like 7 years old, watching it with my parents, and I was like, I will be up there one day. I don't know what for. It might be like writing or something, but I was like, that's what I want. So, you know, I want to know, like, growing up somewhere conservative, when do you remember first knowing that you were gay?
Before I even moved to Pennsylvania, I don't know, maybe I was watching like an episode of Soul Train when I was like 5 or 6 or something. Like Shamar Moore was shaking them hips, and I was like, I'm a gay man. You know? like literally real life Shamar Moore. But like you move to PA and like gay is like, you just know it's wrong.
Right. So that's what I want to ask. Did you feel like you had to hide it?
For a short period of time. I think I came out when I was like 13.
Wow, that's
you know, you just like, where am I going? Talking about, yeah, bro, I'm straight. Like, you know, kids in school were like, you're queer. Yeah. I'd be like, am I? Because I don't think I am, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
No, we all do that, right? Like we know, but then when other kids call us out, same thing, like they would call me like very bad slurs.
Same.
And I would be like, what? No, I'm so straight. And like, because at the time I was, you know, a female presenting person. And so I'd be like, I'm straight. I don't know what you're talking about. But I think it's because obviously like society teaches us to hide that. And did you feel like you could come out to your parents? Like, did your home make you feel more comfortable come out at 13?
Oh yeah, my dad now, we're close. We weren't as close back then when I came out, but me and my mom are very close. My mom was just kind of like always like, you can tell me if you want.
It's always the mamas.
Always.
Yeah.
And so one day she just kind of like asked me, and I was like, yeah, girl. And she was like, all right, I'm going to get McDonald's. Do you want anything? Like, not a big deal at all. It's just like.
That's great. I think we talk about this all the time, that it should be like that when kids come out.
It's very chill.
Like, okay, amazing. What do you want for lunch?
Yeah.
Make it a safe space and go on about your day. It doesn't have to be a thing.
Yeah.
It
Exactly.
doesn't have to be an event.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
And do you think when you were like that young boy, you were like feminine, and that's what people were picking up on? What do you think was making people like say that?
You know what it was? I think it was the fact that I just like didn't dress like other cisgender, straight black men in my school. Like everyone was wearing the Fat Farm Echo and like all the Sean John, and that was just like never my thing. Give me a bright pink American Eagle something. Give me that. Unfortunately, Abercrombie something. Like that was just like my style. But then I also would be in PacSun and I'd wear like etnies, and then that would like confuse people in my city. They'd be like, you're different, so you're obviously gay.
Right.
Granted, they were right. But they were like doing it in a mean way.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, you're cool and gay. It was like, you're different and gay, weirdo.
We talk about this all the time, how like even me like asking the question, like, do you think you were feminine? Like I don't even like using that wording, because it's like, what does that even really mean? If you're wearing a pink shirt, is that feminine, or is it just like that pink
and
shirt?
also too, not all, you know, gay men have to be feminine. That's another thing.
Yeah.
too.
Very true.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're gender-wise, you know, gay people are all over the place.
Yeah.
You know, those two things intersect and sometimes are very different from one another. Do you think there was a difference? Because, you know, a lot of our listeners are super young, so I really like to kind of have like people out there, even if it was like 1 or 2 kids that might identify with your story. Do you think it was different growing up gay and black, and especially where you were raised?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Than let's say a white gay boy?
Yes, absolutely. White gays in the Poconos very much had it easy. You know, granted, I was the first person to come out in my high school amongst like the 4 years or what have you. And I got like dragged the most. But granted, I was still very popular. So, you know, I just always noticed that like when the white gays came out, it wasn't that much of a splash. But when I did, the mamas was calling mamas. Like, did you know that smart Courtney in the game? Did you hear that? And it was like, and still an icon. Like, you
Absolutely.
know, you know.
Yeah.
And so you think it was like, did you notice a difference like within like your family dynamic, like not just your parents, but like extended family and stuff, or?
Not so much, just because I feel like it was one of those things where my family always kind of assumed. And then it was once I confirmed, the mom was like, all right, everyone, we can chill. He's gay. And everyone was kind of like, all right.
Yeah, it's almost like it's out in the open now. We like,
Yeah, it didn't have to be like a tense thing. It was just more like confirmation.
Right.
You know, which is good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we've talked about too before, like the disparity between like race and your sexuality, and how like Black trans people or Black gay people definitely like have a different experience. And so, you know, do you just now, like in the entirety of your life, do you still feel that? Or do you think it's different because you're in LA?
LA is a mess. Repeat the question one more time. Let me ponder and marinate before I respond.
There's definitely like a disparity, I feel like, between, you know, like a Black gay man or a white gay man or a white gay woman. And I just am curious if now, even as an adult, you still feel that. Like you said, in high school, there definitely was. There's a difference. Do you still feel it now?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I feel that way even just in nightlife. Just like when I go out and I hang out with my friends, you definitely know when you're in a safe space for Black queer men versus when you're the minority in a white queer space. And
Gotcha.
it might feel like, girl, what you doing here?
Yeah.
Like, you know, not always aggressive, but as a Black person, you always feel it the second you walk into a room. Like, okay, girl, you going to have an adult beverage? How long is that going to be?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? I'm trying to get on out of there.
Right,
You know?
right. That's interesting, especially even in LA.
Oh yeah, especially in LA.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. You can tell those things just by the audience in clubs. The way I feel safe in Trunks is not the same way that I feel going into the Abbey or going into Motherlode. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because Trunks is a space for me, for us. You get what I'm saying?
No,
as a Black queer person.
Right.
To the point where, and it doesn't make it fair, but when I bring my white friends there, they're like, hold on, I'm feeling uncomfortable. And then I have to say, oh, are you the minority? Welcome to my world.
Yeah.
Isn't it cute?
Yeah, you're like, I do this all the time. You're doing this one night. Yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah. You'll handle it.
Yeah.
We're playing Beyonce tonight. You know?
What do you think as like a community? Because if we're talking about LA, who's supposed to be so, you know, inclusive.
In certain ways.
But I'm saying it's supposed to be. What do you think we as a community can do differently? Not to put this on you, but I just am curious from your perspective.
I think that people should just be respectful.
Yeah.
Because I can't tell you how many times I've been in the line at Mickey's and some white twink just thinks just because they're better than me that they can just cut me and my friends in line.
Oh, gotcha.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For me, it's about respect. Like, we're all there to have a good time. Here, Britney here, Beyonce there, a little Avril Lavigne maybe if we're lucky. And it's just, just blatant, like, move.
Yeah,
Like, and I'm like, girl, do you know who I am? Girl, you see these people behind me about to get
Courtney
you?
Revolution.
I said, girl, you know what time it is, girl. Don't make the Joker come out, girl.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's about respect at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think I've seen it so much within our community where, like, we're supposed to be so there for each other, and in so many ways we're not. Like, for instance, when I transitioned from female to male, the lesbians disowned me. They
Really?
Were, oh, yeah. They were like, you're a gender traitor. You're not one of us anymore. I have like almost no lesbian friends anymore, which is okay because obviously it filtered out people I don't need in my life. But I thought that was so... You do think, especially like masculine presenting lesbians would have been like, yeah, I totally get it, you know?
What's that about?
I know.
It's something that's actually I've seen it a lot. Yeah,
Really?
for some reason, and this is absolutely no hate towards lesbians. I'm just saying, I do see, especially in the lesbian community, they tend to not understand like the trans community as much, and it's sad because it's like, you know, we're all a part of the community, but. Yeah, I don't know if it has to do maybe sometimes with internalized issues or, you know, I don't know, but it happens a lot specifically with lesbians. It's interesting.
Yeah, because I think lesbians really do, I'm also not trying to generalize, but I think
Yeah,
they
not
really
at all.
hold on to the fact that they're females who like females. So when you become a man, obviously this was who I was since as long as I can remember, this is my soul, but they feel like, oh, now you're just one of them, you know?
Especially like older, I feel lesbians, because I've noticed like usually lesbians who are like more towards teens or younger people, they tend to be more understanding. But I feel, yeah, especially like kind of the lesbian community of LA who are all like in their 30s. Once again, really not trying to be mean or trying to generalize or anything, but like I've noticed it a lot from that specific community. Like usually like they're around like their late 20s to 30s, and I've noticed that.
Yeah, because I think the younger generations are realizing that like gender isn't what we used to think it was and stuff. So they're more like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like I totally get being transgender.
It kind of gives me the same vibes, like when like certain lesbians will hate on non-binary people or trans people. It kind of reminds me of like the whole TERF thing.
It is a TERF thing.
Yeah, like.
Do you know that term, trans-exclusive radical feminist? It's
Yeah.
You're so radically feminist that you actually exclude trans people, even trans women.
Well, because they're not even real feminists. They just say that they are.
J.K. Rowling is one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where I've seen.
Yeah,
that
we
before.
drag her.
Yeah, they're not even actually feminists. They say it, but they can't be if they exclude trans women. You know what I mean?
I'm still stuck on lesbian not being my friend because I'm transitioning.
Yes.
How is
Yeah.
that a friend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't no friend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Seriously,
it's
I didn't expect it either.
It's sad.
I'm like shocked. Like that's why I'm literally like not being dramatic for just a second. I think that's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I said, like really no hate, especially like, you know, I've known lesbians, like very sweet people. It's just, you know, it's definitely something that is specific with each, individual person. Not every lesbian, of course, is going to be that way, but I've noticed it a lot in the, like I said, like in the older lesbian community. And I think like what you said, like they almost kind of hold on to like being a woman like so hard that like, I don't know how to describe it, but they almost kind of, when someone transitions, they're almost kind of like, ugh, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But that's unfortunate.
It is
They
unfortunate.
should change that.
I know.
Stop thinking like that.
Yeah.
Stupid.
I think as a community, we just all need to be there for each other
Yeah.
and support each other. And like you said, like there's changes that need to happen. It's a respect thing. It's like being a kind, good person. So yeah.
And genuinely.
Yeah.
Not performative. Because
Yeah.
we know when y'all being performative.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. So, you know, do you feel like on The Circle and all these shows you've done, do you think, because I also saw you just did The Floor is Lava, right?
I did.
How fun was that?
Oh my God. I got to live out like my Nickelodeon like fantasy, and it was like one of the best days of my life. Not even gonna lie.
Me and Francesca watched it, and I was like, that would be so fun to do. I'm seriously down. I think she actually is going on it.
Hey!
Yeah. But you've done all these amazing shows, and you've made like such a name for yourself. And I know that there's young people obviously watching you that look up to you. Like, what do you feel a responsibility there, or do you just kind of like live your life and?
What happens.
To be honest, I felt like I was just living my life. Like when I did the show, like I very much was like going in it like I do not care what I look like to the audience because at the end of the day I need to get this money because I flew all the way out to England 10 hours. Then once the show came out, I encountered the hate, and then I started to meet the fans and viewers in real life, and they would like tell me their stories, and I was like, girl, I was just in a bucket hat, like screaming and swearing and, you know, cutting throats or whatever. But I realized that there really hadn't been someone that was exactly like myself on TV.
Right.
And I didn't realize how many little Courtneys needed to see me missing my teeth and overweight and just literally, truly being myself.
Absolutely.
So that they could feel like, okay, well, I can be on TV too, and I can be a YouTuber, and I could blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my God, off of The Circle? Like, you know?
And speaking of that, do you feel like TV today, like do you feel like it's changed from when you were younger?
Yes.
In the sense of like representation too?
Yes. I won't say their name out of respect, but there's someone that's very popular in reality today. And that was the first person that I saw as kind of like myself back in the day. And now that person has evolved from then until now. And I think that the way that I think as a person and the way that I watch TV has changed and evolved. And I think that the way people make TV definitely has changed and evolved. It's definitely a lot more thoughtful today, because back then, the violence, you could see somebody get slapped up on MTV, VH1. Maybe Bravo was the only one, maybe at the time. Now you'll get slapped up on Bravo. It was just more, I don't want to say negative, but it was more raw back then.
Gotcha. I think there was more negativity for sure. I think they tried to be somewhat more
messy and like I feel like I even just like watching certain shows now, I definitely feel like it was more like people just like getting into fights and you know what I mean, like even physically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, then more so than definitely I see today. I feel like there's not as much of that from what I see.
Is that for the better, y'all think?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, especially in the physical way, you know, because it's different when it's just like stupid, like, you know, bantering, like whatever. But physically, I obviously don't think people should be hitting each other.
I feel like the world is already so violent. Like we really don't need much more of it. Like look what just happened in Chicago and stuff. I just think, you know, although some of these shows, obviously, like Arlo saying, like people like verbally argue and whatever, like they get in fights. But I think, you know, as long as it's really at the end of the day all fun and games, I think it's entertainment.
Yeah,
and it's not going to spread negativity.
When it's just more like for the sake of like a fun, messy reality show, that's fine. But when it gets a little too much,
don't put your hands on nobody.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think that when I was your age, loved it. Violence, slap her. Now I'm 30, and I'm like, oh, they're so young. Like I'll be like, they're 21. Why are they doing this? Why are they going on a show like this? And I think it just, you're so much more wise than I was at your age.
I mean, same. I don't even understand.
I was like in it. I was like, yeah, get her. And now I'm like, kind of like, what's the point? Like, I would never go on TV and hit nobody. I ain't gonna throw no drink on nobody.
Exactly.
That's a little bit too much even for me.
Right.
But I will read you down. A little sass here and there.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And you said, like, you know, you had people come up to you that are like all the little Courtneys that kind of like needed to see you. Has that changed now your trajectory? Like, does it change what you want to do next? Or do you think you still are just, you know what, living life, I hope they like it?
Honestly, I think that the only way people are going to be able to be themselves is if I'm just myself. And I cannot let them impact that, because what drew them to me in the first place was me not even caring that they existed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So as long as I keep doing my thing, the people that really truly are fans of mine, whatever, pals, viewers, supporters, they're going to be attracted to that.
No matter what. Yeah,
you know,
I agree with that. And at the end, did you win the $100,000?
No.
No?
Was that something else? No, I did not, but I came very close.
Okay.
Very, very,
very close.
It's very much giving, you said villain earlier. I think if y'all watch the show, you would be like, ugh, almost. He was so mean, but of course he didn't win. I needed to cry. Wouldn't give him that.
Okay.
You know, you got to give, if you got big winner energy in a reality TV edit and you're even a little bit mean, you're not going to win unless you have a redeeming cry, kind of bring it full circle.
Like
once I switched into strategic mode, I was not taking my foot off the pedal until the confetti fell on somebody.
Got it.
So yeah.
So what did you, when you left and you went back home, did you feel kind of like, you know, I'm okay with it because like that was my strategy and I gave it my all and I was authentic to myself? Or were you kind of like, oh, in hindsight, I should have done that?
Honestly, don't judge me. I was just excited to be on TV.
That you shouldn't be.
I like literally didn't even think, like I know for a fact they'll never admit it. I know for a fact I was going home first. And then I just did something. And then it changed the trajectory of the entire show and how it could have gone.
Right.
So, I mean, when I got home, it wasn't like, I mean, we have conversations, me and the other circlers, about like what happened on their end and what they were told and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we talk about, well, if you did this, I could have done that. But I don't feel like, I don't wake up feeling like, ooh, I wish I would have. Because when I watched that show back, if y'all ever decide to watch it,
I watched a bunch of clips, but I've never like fully watched it like, all the way through.
I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah, that's amazing.
A bit of it.
Yeah. I love that. That's a great way to leave a show like that.
Do you consider yourself more of like a social media type of person now?
Honestly, I feel like I'm less of a social media person now. And it's so sad because, I don't know, I used to love doing it whenever I wanted to. And now I almost kind of feel like, you know how people have like 9 to 5s and they like, you know, once they're done, I used to be a barista, right? So like once I'm done making smoothies and coffees, it's like you put the fruit away, you put your coffee grounds away. After the circle, I almost feel forever linked to my Instagram or like forever linked to my Twitter because if I don't tweet for a day, somebody gonna text me. Could be Madison. Where you at? Or if I don't post on my Instagram stories, someone's gonna wonder where I am. Because the last time I disappeared on social media, it was for the show, and people literally thought all types of things happened to me.
Oh, wow.
Like they thought I was in rehab.
Yeah.
They thought I had gotten it, like I was hurt.
Yeah.
They thought I went broke and moved back home. Like people thought all sorts of things. So like, you know, I'm less of a social media person now.
Yeah, I mean, like
Still active.
We do social media too, like pretty much for a living, and sometimes it's so exhausting because, like you said, you don't clock out.
Yeah.
It's always there.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that gets exhausting? Like, do you sometimes just literally want to like throw your phone in the ocean?
Oh yeah, the burnout is real and severe.
Yeah.
And how I combat that is I hang out with people that make me not want to check my phone.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And it's excellent. That's
the best thing you can do. I mean, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. A couple nachos, little guacamole, good conversation.
Yeah.
And you don't even need Instagram.
Exactly.
You know? What's it like for you? You're so young. Do you feel burnt out on social media?
In certain ways, just because we do, you know, film together, like on his TikTok platform. My personal, like, TikTok is now private. I personally don't like to, like, post myself really much. But yeah, it definitely.
We both get burned out.
Yeah, it's a little bit interesting, especially, you know, certain comments and people, and, you know, certain like negative people. It definitely gets a little annoying at times.
It's definitely a balance, like having a kid with me in all of this, right?
Yeah.
Like it's always me and Arlo on our TikTok and podcast and everything, and almost every interview they want us both. Yeah. And so it's a balance for me to always kind of make sure I'm still like protecting them while, you know, still obviously cultivating like a career and everything like that. So, but no, the burnout's definitely real.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow. Would y'all do reality TV together like The Circle?
Personally, no.
Yeah, like I
that was instant. That was quick.
They're really like more of a behind the scenes kind of person.
I like that.
Yeah. So when you got back, are you still close with your family? Are they still where are they? Are they still in
They're in Pennsylvania, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you're still close?
Very close.
And you said like it probably doesn't even get talked about anymore, like that you're gay or like anything like that, right?
Oh my God, no. It's like, I don't even think about it. I'm sure they don't think about it. It's just me.
And how is your dad doing?
He's doing good. You know, I just sent him a coconut cake recently, just because. So he's good.
Awesome.
Love him to death. Aww.
That's great. And do you have siblings?
Yes, I have a little brother. He's 16.
Oh, cute. Whoa, he's way younger. Yeah.
Yes. So he's going through his like high schooler, like don't talk to me, but also talk to me.
What does he think about like seeing you on TV?
Yeah.
Gag. He's never seen it.
Really?
My brother's like the only person I personally know that has not seen The Circle.
Wow.
He's seen season 3 of The Circle, but it's because he was at my house and I forced him. I was like, let me show you what I was on, but I won't be annoying and put on my season. I'll put on this. And he was like enjoying it. And I was like, and you missed the 4 weeks I was on it? What? Flop.
Oh. And was that like crazy that coming out during the pandemic?
Yeah.
That had to be different because like Francesca said like Too Hot to Handle came out during the pandemic and that was like just craziness because everyone was at home watching.
It just feels like all of a sudden people are just like obsessed with 2 weeks of your life and they like make it your everyday.
Yeah.
Like if you say one thing on the show, then that must mean you are like that 24/7, 365. You know?
Yeah, I feel like people almost create like characters out of everyone.
Absolutely, they do. And we always talk about how like they also like have a different perception of time because in their heads you're that character they saw on TV. So like a year will go by and they'll think like you're still supposed to be doing what you were doing then. You're like, my life has changed. Like
like a lot of times people don't even recognize me because I don't have my glasses on. But if I wear them, they're like, you look so different. Well, it was filmed forever ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Here
like
we are.
they forget that that's like you literally, like you said, 2 weeks or month of your life, and then you go back to real life, and years go by. Even
it's out there forever.
Yeah,
I tell my mom that all the time because she is on the show, and I tell her like, "Girl, you're out there. Just want to let you know,
for life.
They stop you at the post office. It's because your mug was wishing me good luck." Like,
does she get stopped?
Yeah.
That's
oh yeah.
God, I love that.
I think it's very interesting. She's always like very terrified by it. Like, girl, you birthed a circler.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh. Even
a star.
Still, when we get like stopped sometimes and people are like, oh my gosh, like I follow you on TikTok, I get so quiet and nervous.
Why?
And I don't know why I get like so nervous in front of people. Yeah. I get so quiet. And like I always feel bad after though because I'm like, I hope they didn't think I was mean because like I'm really not trying to be. I just get very nervous. And like we were recently like at the mall and this one like younger person got a picture with us and I barely spoke the entire time. I felt so bad, but I was like, I got so anxious.
I mean, it makes sense. You're 13. I feel like when I was 13, I would have done the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Like, these are things you grow out of when you're older.
You probably made their day too. You know, whether you said something or not.
Yeah. And you just have such a nice vibe that I doubt anyone would ever think you're mean.
I just feel like sometimes when like you don't really speak that much, I feel like people just automatically seem like, oh, like you're standoffish almost. But
I get that all the time because I'm not like this all the time.
Right.
Really at all. So if you like meet me out and I'm like, hi, so nice to meet you. I love your necklace. Like people are like, why aren't you death dropping? Like, why aren't you kikiing? And like, because we're in the mall and I'm eating a Wetzel's pretzel. Nice to meet you.
That's the other thing. They always catch you when you're like eating or something and you're like,
oh my gosh, people always catch us at the most random times. Like whenever we're like actually like, dressed up and ready to go out, nobody sees us. But then when we are like randomly at like, where were we? We were
Target.
Yeah, Target. When we were just like,
we have like fluffy hair, and, like pajamas on.
Sweatpants and like.
It's always like that.
It's always.
I remember when The Circle first came out, me and Jack, another castmate of mine, we went out with Savannah and Sammy from season 1. And me and Jack were just like in the bathroom, like washing our hands. And someone went, oh my God, are you Courtney and Jack from The Circle? We're like, yeah, hey. He literally put us on his Instagram story in the bathroom.
Oh my God.
That's so funny.
It was a very interesting time, those 4 weeks.
Yeah.
People like knew us everywhere we went.
Was it immediately after that was worse?
Yeah.
And then it just kind of like obviously calms down a little bit, right?
Yeah, so it was, I like literally went a month but just without wearing my glasses just so I could feel like I could go to like Jamba Juice.
Yeah.
It just was like a lot, especially when you don't know how people felt about you on the show. That was my biggest thing. Because you can meet someone and then be like, I hated you on the show.
Yeah.
But for the most part, people are like, oh my God, I can't believe you're here at Dunkin' Donuts. Like, yeah, girl, this is my Dunkin' Donuts, of course.
Like, I can't believe you're here.
Yeah, literally. I'm like, I've been coming here. What do you
This is mine.
You're like, I've been going here for 10 years. I don't know.
Like, welcome.
So what's on the horizon for you? What are you doing next?
Okay, more TV.
Yeah.
More TV, definitely.
All with Netflix, right?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Because it's like a family. Like
the Netflix fam is very much a real thing. Circle fam, real until it's time to win $100,000. Netflix fam, we go out to happy hour, lunch, like we all know each other. So hopefully there'll be like another show that like has a whole bunch of Netflix people on it, which will be really exciting. And voice acting. That's something I really want
That's
to do.
cool.
I'm trying to be a cartoon.
That's
that
fun.
would be sick.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do that
I
too.
love
It sounds
that.
so fun.
Yeah.
Right? You know, show up in pajamas, be a little SpongeBob, and take my check and go home.
And I'm just curious, like, so when you do more TV, is there any sort of like type of show that you are really aiming for, like that you would love to do? A certain game or something like that?
You want to know my biggest thing, right, is when I am speaking to producers, they always want me to compete again, right? Because on The Circle, I was super strategic. I'm not a competitor, contrary to popular belief. I am a sloth. So I need to be on a show that's like a house show.
Gotcha.
With other people, and I don't have to swing from nothing, jump off of a cliff, or like the challenge. They really, really, really wanted me for the challenge on MTV, and I'm like,
Gotcha.
girl, I don't want to break a wrist.
I feel like they're making them all have challenges now.
Yeah.
Even the house dating shows, they're like throwing in challenges. It's like, let people just live.
Where's like the potato sack? Like that's the show I'm trying to be on.
I think because like all those were so big for a while, like the Real Housewives and whatever, like, you know, Housewives of New York and stuff. I feel like those, and like Jersey Shore, I feel like those were so big for a while that people are trying to kind of go off of that a little bit and add something to it because they almost, you know, they don't know really how to spice it up anymore, I feel like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's not like a hook always.
Exactly. Because, you know, you still want to be entertaining. So if people are living in a house together or whatever, you know, there has to be stuff that's happening. And so I feel like they add those challenges to give it something.
You know what's a really good idea? What if they took a whole bunch of Netflix stars and they flew us from continent to continent, and there's a challenge on each continent, and whoever does not pass the challenge after the long flight gets eliminated, and the winner is like Netflix's best top vacationer.
That would be
awesome.
really
Something
cool.
I can win.
That would be
You gotta
really
email
cool.
Netflix.
Yeah. Put that submission in.
That actually sounds rad because
I would watch
traveling,
that.
too, that would add such like a crazy
I'm
aspect.
just trying to be on a plane.
Yeah. You're like, how can I travel more?
You're like, how can I experience every country?
And for free.
Yeah.
Yeah, Netflix, you pay. You got the coin.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie, Jersey Shore, that was so entertaining. I got so into that show.
It's so good.
Oh my God, they're doing another one, and I'm curious to know if the magic can be duplicated.
Oh, they are. They're doing
Yeah, they're doing like a
crazy.
Jersey Shore 2.0. The original cast is not happy.
Really?
That's the T.
Oh, that's a T.
See
We
how it
got
just comes
T.
out? It just comes out.
T just happens naturally.
Yeah. But yeah, it's happening.
Crazy.
Wow. Okay, we have to watch it though.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so I mean, I love this
Yeah.
interview. This has been seriously so good. We always close the interviews out
With these two questions. Yeah.
Okay.
So, what is a single thing you would want to be known for when you leave this earth? It can be any. It can literally be a song, a movie, something you do.
Just like what you want the world to be left with,
Yeah.
like Courtney Revolution.
I think I would want the world. I think I would want to leave behind the idea that I was an exceptional friend overall.
I love that.
Because I think that friendship is probably one of the most important things to me.
Yeah.
I love that. I think
I love
friendship
that.
is one of the most powerful things in the world. Like it really is. Without my friends, I wouldn't be where I am.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Love that answer.
I love
and
that
people,
answer.
everybody's answers are so good because we ask everybody that, and everybody's answers are so different.
And everyone's different, and
Yeah.
everyone is like equally amazing. Like it's
Yeah.
so awesome. And then this is the last one. Do you think 10-year-old Courtney would be proud of Courtney now?
Oh my God, yeah. 10-year-old Courtney was like watching The Real World with the volume down. Now, reality TV. So yeah, Courtney, 10-year-old Courtney would think I'm pretty cool. Yeah, period.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love that because we're proud of you. So I
Yeah.
absolutely
Thank
agree. So this interview was amazing, but we're going to go ahead and close it out with just a quick little get to know you game. This or that.
All right.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. East Coast or West Coast?
East Coast. East Coast.
Why?
Just because that's where I'm from.
Yeah.
I feel like East Coast is just more natural to me.
Yeah.
You know, I was born there.
Yeah, I feel like everyone that's from the East Coast that moves to the West Coast says that. Like nobody's ever like West Coast. Like
Yeah.
I feel like you're a really East Coast person if you're from
It's
there.
cute here.
Yeah.
So much here. There's just more.
Yeah.
East Coast, you know?
yeah.
Your roots. Romantic comedy or horror film?
Oh, horror film.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, horror film.
Right up our alley.
Give me the blood, the gore. I needed all.
Oh my gosh, we
Yeah.
love horror movies.
Romantic comedy is like, love them.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to hold my attention.
That's exactly how
What's your favorite romantic comedy?
Does Bridesmaids count?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bridesmaids.
I was
That's a
gonna say,
good
what's
one.
your favorite horror film? Because we're like
Yeah.
obsessed.
Nightmare on Elm Street. Like the whole series.
Great one. Love the classics.
Yeah.
Yes.
They love all the classics.
Yeah. I mean, I love a bunch, but yeah, the classics are great. Winter or summer?
Summer. Because living in the Poconos, winter is like not a sprinkle. It's always like 8 feet of snow.
Gotcha.
Like call the plowman to get
dang.
you out of the driveway. It's
Did
a
the
whole
schools
thing.
close like when?
Yep.
Yeah.
2-hour delay. Like watching like your school like go by on the banner on the news like every other day. Ugh. Give me the summer.
Okay, so summer, but East Coast or West Coast summer?
West Coast summer. West Coast summer. Yeah. West Coast summer.
Yeah.
Summer here is amazing.
Yeah. Nice little rooftop moment.
Yeah. Okay, desert or beach?
Neither.
Same.
I guess
How about if you had to get stranded on one? What would you prefer?
beach, because at the end of the day I can get in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's like fish in the
That's
water.
what we always say too. We talk about this because we love the show Naked and Afraid. And me and Francesca, and we're like, we would choose beach because we're vegan. So A, we could find fruit, and B, like having access to the ocean, being able to jump in the water would
Yeah.
be so much better than like being stuck in a hot
For
desert.
You're
sure.
about to eat a cactus.
Yeah,
For sure.
Tumbleweed.
exactly.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee, easily. Cold brew.
Ooh, okay.
Cold brew, cold brew, cold brew, cold brew. I love it.
Nice.
Would not be here functioning without it.
Do you drink hot coffee ever?
Super rarely.
I do not like hot liquids. Like I won't drink them.
Really?
Like I'm only cold liquids, like across the board. Even if it's winter, I get an iced coffee.
If you had to drink tea though, what would be your favorite tea?
Watermelon mint from Trader Joe's.
Oh, I was not expecting such a quick answer.
For my job, I had to
Does
drink a lot
sound
of tea
good.
before the circle. So
Does
I
sound
have a lot of
good.
tea in my house.
Yeah.
That sounds really good. I'm gonna try that.
Yeah.
Okay, the circle or the floor is lava?
The circle. Listen, the floor is lava. Definitely bucket list check. Did a game show, but I was arguably one of the main characters on the circle.
Yeah.
So
So
it's
that
just a moment
feels
I'll never
different.
forget. Yeah, you know.
Absolutely.
I was on every episode.
Yeah. That's huge and that's amazing. All right, this was so fun.
Yeah.
We love you.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you back anytime. Thank you
y'all want.
so much for being here.
Of course.
This was great.
Yeah, this was awesome.
Had fun. Y'all know how to interview. I know that's right.
Isn't it crazy? 13.
Your mind is so powerful. You understand? Like, for real.
Literally. It scares me. Sometimes I'm like, what did I create? One day they're going to destroy me.
Oh my gosh.
If you want, you can look in the camera and go ahead and plug all your socials. This one right here.
This one right here.
Yeah.
Hi, you can listen to my podcast with me and my friend Savannah called Homecoming Queens, where you listen to podcasts, and also follow me on social media. I am Courtey Revolution on Twitter and TikTok, and Courtney Revolution on Instagram.
Perfect.
Amazing. Thank you seriously so much for being here.
Of
This
course.
was so good. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Interview with My Kid. Make sure you find us on all streaming platforms, and don't forget to subscribe to the Past Your Bedtime YouTube channel for video episodes.